Hello, and welcome to All I Am is the Cousin of a Bronze Medal Olympian. I am Tom
Ooh.
Elwes. I'm joined today, as ever, by my co host, Mr. Ali Woods.
Hello, listeners. Hello, Tom. So he got a medal. That's good. Good for him. By the
Last
way, this
night,
is, if you hadn't caught up, this is Tom's cousin who is currently representing Mexico in the Olympic rowing team. So, El Wes.
he's actually representing the what is it, the Russian Federation of Athletes, or who do
This is not anything to do with Russia, completely
no,
different country. This
no,
is.
yeah. No. There's nothing to do with that is a complete joke. Like when you really think about it, it's just like they went to the Olympic Committee, like you guys are a band, like you guys really can't.
Hey,
You absolutely
Russia,
can't.
Russia can't play, but
Yeah,
if another federation of sort of Russian
yeah.
athletes, then more than
Hmm.
welcome.
Well, anyway,
So
listen,
what happened with your brother then? Because
brother,
you
my
said
cousin.
last time, I think, sorry, cousin. Uh, you said that I think it might be in the Patreon one or
Yeah,
this one that they cocked up the first race, and so they were in the losers race.
yeah. So the repechage is the
Don't have
sort
to
of
explain repechage. I know what that's. I know
you know
what
what
that's
that
all
is? Yeah,
about. The repechage, mate. I'm always banging on about the repechage.
yeah, exactly. Of course. Regatta. Always hanging out at the regattas.
This is my crew. Literally my crew.
That's it.
So
Right.
so
Well,
you'd
anyway,
cocked
so
up the repechage.
it then came second in the repechage, which is like the kind of if you come in the top three of that, you get into the main race. Came second in that,
Okay,
and
cool.
then at 2:25 last night, they were in the men's eight final. Apparently, nearly 100 million people watch it. Okay, so that's
Wow. That's
pretty
good,
intense.
isn't it? And do you reckon you probably had similar views of your stand up?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking like, wow. When everyone was talking in the living room, because I was with his parents as well, his parents and his brother and sister.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
And you
when
were
they
there
were all,
going, this is
yeah,
impressive, isn't it? Probably not as brave as maybe going up and doing stand up comedy, I'd say.
yeah. You want to talk about pressure? Let me tell you about,
Well,
it's Friday night. You're in Doncaster, and it's a rowdy crowd.
it's a
There's a
rowdy
stag
crowd.
doing. There's a
Yeah.
stag doing. That is
Yeah.
nerve wracking. Okay.
That's a repechage. That
Yeah.
really is. So you're sitting there with his parents,
Yeah.
and everyone's nervous. So you've all stayed up. Is Gran nodding off and shit, and everyone's like, "Wake up, Nan!" You.
Well, actually, what happened was though is we all had dinner and then everyone went to bed. Well, lots of people,
Uh,
most of the people went to bed, and then there was a sort of knock on
Not
doors. So
you, mate.
everyone was
You
sitting
you
there.
you smash back an MDMA tab,
Oh,
and
I
you were
did.
buzzing it too. Fucking, I love the beat of the rowers. Yes, the splash coming in.
Yeah. So we everyone up at 2 a.m. Lots of Team GB flags flying. I did say to everyone, can you please caption the Olympics in all your posts so we don't look like a sort of Brexit march.
What's wrong with that? Nothing
Nothing,
wrong with
absolutely
that.
nothing, mate.
Yeah.
Prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the flags were already hanging, so that was good. That was like good,
Easy. Yeah.
useful. Didn't have to change the decor.
Not a problem. And didn't have to take any of the pictures of the Queen down, so that's it.
Brilliant.
Um,
Yeah, sang the
uh,
national anthem,
yeah, of course.
but that's what I do at 2 a.m. every day. Anyways,
My uncle's on trumpet. That's just how
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So yeah, all wake up 2 a.m. Come downstairs, and yeah, they're all lining up, and it was terrifying. It was the first time that
Mm.
I'd been like, oh wow, this is really really intense,
Proper
crazy
nerves.
pressure. And then they were off, and they looked good, and they were second, and then the New Zealand boat just stormed it, and just
Just
they
smashed it
won
up.
gold and fair play, and then yeah, when they came third, and fair play. Look, all right, that'll be to the average punter. You've just got bronze, mate. What is that? Just bronze. Wow. Well, okay.
I wouldn't have accepted it if I got bronze. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have gone up. I'd just
I'll
gone
get the
home.
losers medal in the
Yeah,
World
you
Cup
know,
final. Just take it off. Yeah.
yeah. It's not for me.
Don't like it, but an amazing achievement to
Not for
get an
Piers
Olympic.
Morgan. Not for Piers Morgan then.
Oh, the fucking melt! Literally, like him talking about Simone Biles is just so annoying. Like
Yeah,
he's
but have you
just
ever
such
seen
a
Piers Morgan do gymnastics? He is excellent.
yeah.
He is actually really top at gymnastics.
I can
He just
imagine.
doesn't do it. He just prefers to be a sort of journalist pundit wanker.
Yeah,
But
just talk about why that your struggles with your mental health are a failure to your nation. So that's
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Embarrassing. We actually didn't. We said we were going to talk about this, but this is pretty big news in relation to the Olympics. Going straight into the news. So, firstly, well done. And what's he called?
Charlie Elwes.
Charlie Elwes. Well done for your third place medal in the whole world. The third best rowing of that in the whole entire world. So, pretty good. Shame it wasn't first, but
Yeah, we were all expecting. We were hoping for gold, but whatever. Like,
was he quite? Were they quite favourites then? You remember you saying
they were favourites to win gold, but
really? But New Zealand are beasts.
Yeah, New Zealand had obviously just been training down because they hadn't been at all the other competitions over the years. I understand it, but they just obviously been
sneaky.
But look, 3 years to the next one. They're a very young crew, and apparently they'll come be amazing by Paris. So we'll see.
Just like the England national football team. Right. It's what everyone's. It's just next year we are. So well done to Charlie Elwes and the rest of the crew. In our first news story today, Piers Morgan has come out and a couple of things, but there's a couple of things. One, that he said third place is for losers and just said it's not a winner's mentality. I've forgotten what British athlete this was, but someone got a bronze and he came out and was like, real winners don't celebrate coming third. I think because they were getting emotional and he just like retweeted it and was like, so that was A, and then doubled that up with his commentary on Simone Biles. If you don't know who Simone Biles is, she is one of the greatest gymnastics people ever, despite being very young. She is an iconic American gymnast who got all the massive endorsement deals with Nike, and also had like a lot of people took to her because of how expressive she was in her gymnastics. Like there was a smile on her face, and as well as while she was doing it, like Ronaldinho. And she was just amazing. And I'm not a gymnast fan, but to me, it was just like incredible.
Yeah, to someone who doesn't know, I sort of describe it as like in normal gymnastics, like you do like 10 billion flips and then you land, and then they always do like a little wobble or a hop. She was just sort of like, she's like throwing a sort of like toilet plunger at a wall. It just wham sticks.
That's I think the technical term for it, Tom. I didn't realize you were so good on the. Yeah. She's a classic toilet plunger. That's what we call it in the game. But she wasn't she? And she had such amazing spring, like athleticism. Anyway, so for the last few years has been, and she's still young and has only really been in the public eye for 2-3 years. Anyway, she's pulled out of the Olympics. Obviously, a huge, great hope for America to win a gold in whatever event she was doing. And she's pulled out for mental health reasons, similar to Naomi Osaka, who again, another young American athlete and sports person who stopped doing press because she said it wasn't good for anxiety. And Piers Morgan's come out and said, "You're a loser. You're an absolute. You are weak. You are pathetic, Simone Biles." That's what he's come out and said. You couldn't hack. You literally couldn't hack. I used to hack people's phones. That's how big I was. You couldn't hack fucking nothing, mate. And he's come out and said that. And obviously then that's got a lot of reaction to what his comments were. But it's also stirred up a bit of a debate around sports. People nowadays, these kids, whether they mental health discussions. I remember in the original Naomi Osaka one, Kevin Peterson, do you remember him, the cricketer for England? He was like really big at the time. He came out in support of Piers Morgan. Was like, you got to be like the top level mentality. But yeah, so what do you make of this?
Didn't he fucking walk out on the England cricket team, Kevin Peterson?
I don't know. He's South African actually, and then he aligned with England. Just getting that English. He's English. He's a cunt. He's not even English. That's the end of my analysis. He's a dickhead. He's English.
I just think, look, what has Simone Biles got left to prove? She's won like all the medals that's possible to win, and she just wasn't feeling it. She had something can't remember what she referred to it as. It's like not the wobblies, but
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's exactly it. And apparently it's a gymnast term because obviously you've got to flip so much. You've got to hang in the air and just you've got to be confident and sure that you are going to land because it's a mentality thing. Look, I'm not going to say I have competed at gymnastics to the level that Simone Biles has. But what I will say is we used to have a trampoline in our garden and I would try and do flips on there. And it's a very similar sport. The thing with it was you had to get over that mental barrier that you were gonna push yourself to land.
You're gonna land, yeah.
Because if you're like halfway in the air and you're like, I'm not gonna do this, then it's more dangerous because then you'll sort of tap out and you'll land on your neck or try and land weirdly rather than landing on your feet or on your knees or something. And yeah, like I got pretty good, whatever. Like get over it. I could do a front flip. Couldn't do a back flip, but I was close.
Okay.
Which then when I was doing that, Piers Morgan came into my garden and said, "You are weak." he said, "Do you know who could do a backflip if he wanted to? Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is why he is the best." Yeah,
and you are a loser.
And you are a pathetic loser. And then I said, "Why do you always criticize young black women?" And he immediately walked out and said he's not having it. So who knows? Who knows? And then he said, "You're just like the weatherman." I didn't know what that meant, but that's what he did.
Well, around about Brexit, and that was that. Yeah.
But one thing is that because look, I'm actually going to do a U here, Tom, and I am potentially trying to write some stand-up about this, but. Okay. I now, for the first time, feel like there is a genuine generation below me. Before,
Gen Z.
Yeah, but before, when we were teenagers, there wasn't the generation below us. They couldn't speak. They were idiots. They were kids. They were struggling with shoelaces. You know what I mean? I didn't have to care about what they thought. But now, if you go 10 years below us, these are actual people with opinions and thoughts and stuff. Yeah. And Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, and stuff. They're sort of almost in that category, and this is probably just what it's gonna be like, and it's not a bad example to set. I don't think if you're having difficulties with your mental health and you feel like that's a danger to your general health, then you should be allowed to take time off.
I think people have been campaigning for it, and people get behind all these campaigns for mental health and backing mental health, and I'm sure at some point Piers Morgan has probably said he backs mental health. I bet if you go back through all the shit at some point he would have been like, yeah, mental health is a problem. Let's deal with it. Yeah, I know. But
that big stance, that huge stance he took.
Almost certainly would have talking about men's mental health.
Oh yeah, it would have been men's. But he doesn't pick on the men.
No. But the issue comes when people are pulling out and it upsets people. And they're like, well, I'm a USA fan and I love USA gymnastics. How could you do this? It's just like, well, you need to accept that, mental health is just like physical health. You wouldn't have a go at her if she had snapped her leg in half, would you?
Yeah, so that's exactly it. And even in this instance, it ties into each other because if she is not feeling confident to do it, then she will be putting herself at risk by doing a triple flip. Now Piers Morgan, sure, he's saying that he could just do a triple flip, doesn't matter. That's what he's saying, basically.
That cottage cheese body of his is prime.
That beanbag that he's going around. Well, hey, I don't want to insult his appearance, even though he does look like he's melting. But that's what it is a detriment to her physical health if her mental health is bad, and that's the case with these athletes. But he's been brought up in a time where footballers would just get pissed the night before a game, win 1-0 by booting the other team off the park, and then later in life they'd all be gamblers, addicts, and divorced, and that was an elite mentality.
That was a bloody good time. I'll tell you what that was.
And nowadays, you see these English boys, some of them haven't even had a beer yet. You know what I mean?
Losers.
You think the Italian team, they're cracking out the beer and Moretti's, mate. Chiellini, Bonucci, they're good lads. They're good lads, yeah.
Going to the bunga parties, having a good time, None of this boring, look after yourself.
But But this is the future of sport. I think these young athletes coming in doing this sort of thing. And then moving on to our next story, coronavirus is on the down.
Could be out. Could be over. Who knows?
Have you still not got coronavirus yet, Tom?
No, never had it, mate. Never had it.
I honestly thought you would be prime candidate, patient zero.
With all the mingling, but it's
the mingling, yeah, exactly. Seeing friends, whatever those are.
Yeah, I'm about to get my second jab next week, and
same. Maybe we can get it together like a publicity stunt. Bring the microphones. I'm currently getting jabbed, and suddenly there's this surging rage going through my system. I'm transforming into a huge 9-foot green monster. But yeah, no. Are you looking forward to your second jab and then really being back to normal?
Well, yes. To be honest, I feel like in this country anyway, we should stress in this country,
in these great shores of ours.
I do. However, I am thinking like there is a scenario in which England really does just shut itself off, and we just have to be in England and nowhere else in the world. But
I've said that for years. I've said that. I don't know what the problem with that is.
Bring back Blackpool. That's
we've said this before. You've got the AIDIF quarantine holiday down at Butlins. What more do people want?
Yeah. I mean, the British seaside, bringing it back has been a big, campaign for AIDIF since the beginning. And finally, after years of doing AIDIF, we've come full circle, and it could actually happen. So this is it.
The Patreon listeners will know you gave us a virtual tour of Scunthorpe, of the fantastic Scunners, exactly. And what's not to love? Speaking of which, actually, talking about things domestic that are good, I want to say, Patreon, you can get a second episode every week by subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/AIDIFpod. £4 a month will get you an extra episode every week. Second thing, you missed out, Tom, unfortunately, but Tuesday night at AIDIF stand-up at Vauxhall Comedy Club, we run every Tuesday. You're more than welcome to come. That crowd were cracking. Thank you so much. Come again. That exact crowd. Come again.
Ooh,
anyway,
great.
Sorry.
Great. Well, I look forward to being down at AIDIF on Tuesday next week.
That's as close as we'll have to an advert break. Just me shouting the other things we do.
This podcast will never be big enough for actually us to get real sponsors, but we can.
We'll have to make some up. Well, at some point we'll have to be like, oh, guys, it's too big.
Nike for giving all their support.
No, but it'd be off-brand, so it'd be like Nike with a Y. Just done it.
iPood. Maybe iPood.
Yeah. Man, how do those shops exist, by the way? Those ones in like Tottenham Court Road and Central London, which have the worst, tackiest T-shirts, badges. Are they drug fronts?
No,
we'll get on to conspiracy theories later. But
I would say I don't think people care enough to go around and be like, can you not sell Stony Island T-shirts, please, mate? This is not okay.
No, but it's not even about the branding. It's more just like, how have they got such property, such real estate for such tat?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them have had it for quite a long time. And also, you'd be surprised at how many people buy knockoff football shirts and stuff. Like
Yeah, maybe.
Phone cases. The sheer quantity of phone cases.
And it's always like Breaking Bad. They've always got loads of Breaking Bad stuff. For some reason, people must love the people who would buy from a kiosk that sells I Heart London, which is already fading bags. Those bags are already fading. Also love Breaking Bad.
I would like to know, if anyone does have insight into the marketing and profitability of a knockoff tourist shop, please let us know.
Give us a shout if you run one. And if you want to do some brand endorsements, that could be our first advert break. Get on down to Heart London with like an I in it. London. Down on Piccadilly Circus, where you can get all your knickknacks. Fridge magnets for £6.50. Mouse pads with what's the guy's name? Heisenberg, with Heisenberg on them.
just weird, like a mixture of like band shirts, knockoff football shirts, and like London, tourist
and weed and lots of weed stuff. Weed, which is not legal here. Just being like weed hats and weed t-shirts. I've never seen anyone wear one of those in public. People who do weed don't wear a weed hat.
The weed bucket hat, classic.
Like it's like alcoholics going around with like a picture of someone throwing up, being like, "Legend."
Yeah, it is bizarre, but there's a market for that somewhere, I guess. Well, okay, we are now going to move on to our third story of the news, and that is the fact
we didn't even talk about coronavirus.
Well, it's
just going down, declining. Yeah. What's you've got the latest stats? What's happening here?
Well, it's been declining every day in the UK. I should stress, in the UK, it has been declining. Hospital admissions are going up. They are going up, but that's just sort of backlog from all the massive amounts of cases because it takes a couple of weeks for the cases to transfer into hospitalizations. So they are going up, but if cases are going down, it's a very good sign, and we may be past the worst of it. Maybe the vaccine really is working, and this is all going to be okay. But that's
I'm clipping that up. I'm cutting that one up.
Yeah, when we're in the apocalypse and we're sort of fighting for a last can of rice pudding in December, we'll be like, okay.
When we're like, but the zombies are getting smaller. Have you not noticed? They used to be big, hulking, scary things, and now they're just. I mean, they still kill you and eat your brains, but now maybe we're starting to get, into a better part.
A bit of a nicer space. But yeah, I mean, all signs are positive for once. For once, all signs are positive.
Great. Have you been to a nightclub yet?
No, I have not yet. No. Have you?
Ever? No.
No, that's what I thought.
Why is that now? I love a nightclub. I was supposed to go last weekend and then I didn't. Because no one replied. No one replied. because I don't want to do it until I get double vaccinated. But after I get double vaccinated, I think I want to go. Because I want to go dance.
Nightclub party time, yeah.
I love dancing. You know me.
I'm down for that. I think that'd be fun.
I love all the dances. The samba, two-step,
hip hop,
cha-cha slide.
But,
they still play the cha-cha slide on nights out. Am I right? I have to request about 4 or 5 times. I keep pretending it's my friend's birthday, and then later I'm like, and she's dying. You've got to play her favorite song.
Cha-cha slide.
Oh. Yeah, when it goes from Travis Scott, and then it goes featuring the Clapton bands, and this time we're gonna get funky. Yeah. Okay. What's the last news story, Tom?
The last news, ladies and gentlemen, is that the long-running singing talent contest X Factor has been axed finally. Now, this has been running since 2005. Okay, but Simon Cowell has been on our airways since 2002 with Pop Idol, 2003, I think. And then he branched off and made his own show, The X Factor, first won by Steve Brookstein in 2005.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell anyone. Yeah. He's one of those, sort of like Kanye West, remains culturally relevant every year.
You can see Steve Brookstein. I looked. You can watch him.
What, at Ladbrokes? Down at Ladbrokes?
No, recently been seen doing a tour of Pizza Expresses in the north of England.
No, he has not. Yeah. Oh, bless. But you know what we talk about? We talk about our gigs. He's getting a similar fee for that. He's getting sort of 30 quid. Pizza. He gets the pizza, whatever pizza you want. One, whatever you want. And soft drinks free.
Yeah, and he's allowed to do, he has to sing That's My Goal, his hit from X Factor, twice, but then he's allowed to do one original song as well.
Yeah, he has to open and close with That's My Goal. Yeah. And then he sort of has to take requests. And then he says, this is off the new album. And then that's when they go to the toilet. Yeah. And they come back and he's halfway through. That's my goal. So how many X Factor winners can you name from 2005? Steve?
No, I mean winners from 2005.
So from 2005 to now, 2006.
X Factor undoubtedly was a pile of wank, but it did produce.
Are you talking about your arse, mate? X Factor circa 2000 maybe probably 7. 2007 to 2011 was banging.
It produced some actual talents in the form of Leona Lewis, an actual talent. I think Bleeding Love is
What year did she win? What year did she
I
win?
think that was 06 or 07.
I think that's 07. 06 is when the binman got second place, I think.
Okay.
Do you remember him? Tony or something? I don't remember.
Tony the Binman. And it was so savage. Like back in the day, it would just be like, yeah, Tony the Binman. Like that was what he was.
That was his sob story. That was his like, I'm just the binman, and everyone would be like, I'm so sorry for you. Like, what a legend.
Okay. Other things.
2006. Wait, no, let's go. Yeah, 2005. Steve. 2006. I'm struggling to remember. 2007. Leona Lewis. Ridian was in. He was in 2008. Oh wait, hang on. You know what? I feel like X Factor might have started in 2004. Is it 2005?
It was 05. He won in 05, definitely.
Okay. Well, maybe Leona Lewis is second then, because then maybe it goes Steve, Leona Lewis, that Scottish guy who was shit. I remember Simon Amstel, never mind the Buzzcock, said he hasn't got the X Factor. You can see it in his eyes.
Good.
I don't know how he won. Then you get into the real crackers. I think Alexandra Burke wins it in 2008, where you have JLS as well, who comes second. Yeah. That's when you get Beyonce. Beyonce comes on with her.
Now, the standout year for me, and will always be the year with, I'm talking One Direction, I'm talking Diana Vickers, and I'm talking the painter Matt Cardle and friend of the show.
That's the year after.
That year was a banger. The year with 1D and
so I think that's then 2009 or 10. I think it might be 2010. So Matt Cardle won every week that week. If you go and watch his cover of Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again, it is a banger. He does it on the guitar. It's sick. But obviously, no one cared after he won. See you later, Matt Cardle. But yeah, Dynamic is cracking. Yeah, I mean, this is peak X Factor now. This is like everyone's watching it. It's getting like 10, 11 million views a week. Yeah. It is peak TV.
Yeah, they're getting Rihanna down. They're getting Beyonce.
Literally Beyonce. Like the hugest names are coming down. Louis always gets the groups every time.
Yeah, every time.
And also the judges. Do you remember what's her face?
Cheryl Cole.
Kylie Minogue's Daddy Minogue. Cheryl Cole's down. Daddy Minogue comes down. Daddy Minogue and Simon Cowell have sex. They shag. Yeah, they're shagging throughout.
Definitely. Cheryl Cole's on that show for so long because of that. I would have thought. Like,
maybe. Cheryl Cole is in. Sharon Osbourne was one of the originals when they were doing it for free. And then you get what's her name? Nicole Scherzinger comes down for a bit. Like big names. They tried it. Do you remember they tried to get Louis out? And they brought the dance instructor in because they were like, he's young and cool. And then it didn't work. There wasn't the same.
I love Louis.
Because moms love Louis and Simon can rip into Louis regularly. Simon can't rip into the young, cool dance instructor.
Other good moments when he took the X Factor to America. So he takes the X Factor to America and it's like, we're going to do this.
Cheryl Cole.
Tries to take Cheryl Cole. Americans can't understand it.
Literally, that was it. It wasn't even like... They came out and said it wasn't even like, sort of creative clash or like shout out the project. They literally came out and said Americans couldn't understand us, so she had to go.
Oh no, Pedro. Oh no.
Now we get into the real nitty gritty. Favorite auditions. So I personally hated when they moved the auditions to the big stage.
Yeah, rubbish.
One, the iconic Ablisa.
Ablisa.
She punches her friend. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
iconic. Double X as well. Ant and Seb. Do you remember them?
Yeah, they're the classic. That's what I watch when I'm feeling sad. I'll watch Ant and Seb singing "Mysterious Girl."
Whoa, mysterious girl, I want to get close to you. And then he comes in. Whoa. If you don't know what we're talking about, guys, get on YouTube and Seb.
Now, why I like them is because they were two lads who were just giving it a crack, right? Whereas some of the other auditions, especially from the early days, and you watch them, there's some severe mental health issues going on there, and we're just laughing at people with disabilities. Whereas those guys are like, actually, I'm saying, no, I have nothing wrong with them. They are just a couple of lads giving it a whirl kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Simon. We know we're good enough. It's so good. Well, yeah, exactly. He's sort of like Rick Astley, Usher, and I'm more like P. Diddy. And then Louis goes, "It's a good mix." Sorry, if you haven't watched this video, then you have to stop and watch it and then come back to us because it is iconic. But that's the best, the awkwardness, and then Tony the bouncer as well. Come on, Tony, deal. And then with people who wouldn't leave, because there's also the other woman who roared, who did her own thing. Firstly, I'm not a number.
Good. She was good as well. She was classic. Yeah.
She sings her own song. Oh, what a legend.
Whereas also the guy who did Barbie Girl and worked in a chicken shop in the chicken factory. Hiya, Barbie. Hiya.
Yeah. And there's the guy.
That's what they used to in the final. They used to do like
get them all back.
People they bring them back. Yeah. That was a classic bit of telly.
Iconic. But there's also other people like Jedward is from X Factor. They're still sort of relevant. They've still got a career going. Stacey Solomon. I'm sure Wagner's about. I'm sure hitting the cruises. Chico time. It's Chico. He was season 2.
Chico tweeted after he had a heart attack. I thought it was Chico's time. Classic. Absolutely classic.
Oh man, yeah. I used to love the X Factor. I used to watch it every week. It was prime time TV. Yeah. I sort of hopped off after Matt Carter, I think 2011.
That was the peak.
And then I didn't watch it. And then 2012 I was at uni and I didn't watch it at all. But yeah, sort of yeah. So the first season was a bit of a dud, and then sort of second season to 6th, 7th season, it's like 4 or 5 years of classic quality TV.
And then it just became like being a dead horse. And then also like I feel like no one since I want to say One Direction has really made it off that show.
No, there was a guy who I think he won in 2012 who's had some fairly good British success. He has quite piercing blue eyes. I don't know his name. I didn't remember, but he's had a few pop.
Shane
Warne was second. He was second. Yes, you are quite right. How do we forget Shane Warne?
Yeah.
So he's second, yeah. And then Leona Lewis is third. Scottish guy's fourth. Alexandra Burke is fifth. Matt Cardle's sixth. And then after that, I sort of forget. But he has quite piercing blue eyes. But you'd recognise he does like a lot of like Capital Radio stuff, and he's quite well known. It's only in Britain. He hasn't made any success in America, as far as I'm aware. But he had a few number ones in Britain pop.
I want to say like Ray Quinn, he was around 1 year.
Ray. Do you remember Owen Quigg? Do you remember him? He was like 14, 15, little kid.
Yeah, Owen Quigg. Wasn't he the one who dated Diana Vickers?
Yeah, legend. Well done.
Diana Vickers is still around.
Yeah, I bet you know Diana Vickers. Yeah, exactly. I bet you know Diana Vickers is still around.
Or Vickers.
Oh. Anyway, so this is a very niche. If you weren't watching X Factor 2006 to 2010,
I'm sorry for that.
Where were you? But honestly, some of the old X Factor auditions in that room where they're all pissing themselves are just phenomenal. I mean, yeah, you couldn't do that nowadays. Well, I don't know.
No.
But I met a guy whose job was editing X Factor videos.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "What's that like?" He was like, "Because he does comedy," and he was like, "That's why they get you in, because they're like for the timing, like to basically like making a sketch. It's like make it as funny as possible. We're like this absolute loon has come in to sing. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that horribly to Simon Cowell. You've got to make this like as funny as possible." That's basically what his job was.
I think if someone clearly has mental health issues, I think, or a disability, I think maybe we're not in a space where that is a good idea for us to all absolutely, especially with the rise of social media. I feel like maybe in 2005 they got away with it because those people were then not being tweeted with horrendous amounts of abuse.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there would have been less. I mean, if we're talking that main era, sort of 2006 to 2010, 11. Yeah, a lot of people, like Facebook was just emerging, really. There was no Twitter came out in like 2005 or 6. There wasn't really huge, people were just watching it a lot of the time. They weren't interacting with it on social media as much.
Yeah.
So that's probably why, they probably didn't get this torrent of abuse that you would do now if someone got stitched up on big live TV show. then everyone will be. Well, it's like what happens to Love Island. Like they get all the abuse on there if they do something dumb on there.
What do you think is next? What's next?
It's hard to say because then it was like reality TV was so big, and maybe it's just these sort of Netflix reality TV shows. I mean, obviously Love Island is still culturally important. I mean, The Circle's doing all right on Channel 4, but I think you'd be hard pressed outside of sort of live sport, and even by that I probably only mean live football. You'd be hard pressed to have an era again where people are watching, and not a show like Game of Thrones, like reality TV, like actual life stuff. Where people are watching, like 11 million people are watching it every week. I don't know what you get.
I've got something for you. Okay, this is where I see it.
Is this Wonders again?
Yeah, no. Be like on a platform like YouTube, but it'll be a sort of. It will be live, so they'll do it Friday night, Saturday night live, 8 p.m. for an hour on a stream, and it will be like won't necessarily just be singing, but it will be like all kinds of different talents, and there'll be an audience. It'll be like a Gong Show, but for like audience. So you'll be able to interact and press like or dislike. That's the future of the talent show right there.
Maybe it'll be, as I said in that Black Mirror episode, 15 million credits, where and sort of anyone can go and everyone's watching it virtually. And also the good thing about that is, for the producer side of it, was that it's not like the X Factor where you have to go around the UK. Literally anyone in the world could go and sing to their camera on YouTube or whatever it was.
Maybe you'd still do it in the studio. Maybe you'd still get them down. Maybe you would, but you would just do it live in the studio. People will come. You come on. There'll be a live audience. People want to see a live audience.
We're just coming back. We're just coming back, going full circle to basically having a coliseum again, where you just have people cheering, someone getting eaten by a lion. Yeah.
That's what X Factor.
But the lion is Piers Morgan.
Telling you that you're shit and you've disgraced your nation.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. Simon Cowell's thing was apparently that he was so harsh. Obviously he was harsh to make good TV as well, but apparently his thing was he was so harsh because he'd rather these people quit and got on with their lives than say, well, unlucky, but try again next year. So that's why he was like, you can't sing, you'll never sing, goodbye.
Yeah. And I think in the early days, Simon Cowell was a breath of fresh air, and no one had ever seen anyone be that rude to anyone on TV, and that's why he was so popular. But then he did just become a big caricature of himself, and
and also just looks increasingly weird. Not gonna lie, look, hey, we don't want to body shame, but the plastic surgery and it just faces looks strange.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him recently, and someone said it looks like he's about to give you a mission on GTA 4 because it's like the lines are like so, like it's so plastic, so like everything's held together really astutely. It's all jagged and like boom, this is where the fillers are. This is where it's so strange. But yeah, well, also we need to. What's going to be the next sort of going to the judges' houses? That as a cultural relevant thing was so good. Seeing this lad from Stockport go out to Saint Tropez. And then do you remember that bit as well? There's always that bit of like, Cher was like, we're going to my house in Ibiza. And then everyone's like, woo. And then Simon's like, we're going to go to my villa in Saint Tropez. And everyone's like, woo. And then he goes to Louis, well, I've got a house in Dublin. I'm renting it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's raining, but it'll be all right. Cool. All right. Well, and that is the news. Tom, you ever thought about auditioning for X Factor?
Regularly. There have been multiple times in my life where I thought I could be the guy, the boy band, who doesn't sing at the back.
Yeah. Comes in for the slow bit. So next time you're
The Wanted. Remember the boy band, The Wanted? Were they off X Factor?
Yeah. I don't think they were off X Factor, but that is a shout though. Sort of big 2011, The Wanted vibes. It's like you're trying to connect. You're trying to connect with your nephew. The Wanted, are they still around? They had some hits. They were pretty cool kids.
Yeah. There was definitely some of them who just did not sing and just sort of stood at the back.
Yeah, but they all look good though. They all look good. So we are moving on to our next section, which is Agony Uncle, but not in a weird way. So this is coming from the from my Instagram. So this is my turn this week. Thank you very much for everyone who sent you in. We're going to pick one. It's quite a doozy. Mm-hmm. So Tom, let's see what you say. Going through a big breakup at 35 here. Starting my life from scratch feels quite scary. Where do I begin? Tom, so if you think back to when you were 35, what sort of thing were you thinking? Yeah.
I would think it's really tough because it's just like because I guess when you do get into your 30s, there is a crazy amount of pressure to have kids, which is nonsense because you can still have kids in your 40s now, and lots of people don't even want kids. So you don't
Especially
necessarily
men as well. If you're a man, it's easy. That's another privilege of being a man, isn't it? But obviously, if you want to have biological kids as a woman, it is slightly difficult.
Yeah. Also, if you do have kids in your 40s, then you're going to be like 50. You're going to be nearly 60 when you get your life back.
I mean, my dad, he had me when he was 40, and he's dead now. So he's fucking old, but no, me and him still hang out. It's all good.
Yeah. I think it's tough. It's really at 35. It is annoying because I'm not going to lie to you. When you hit your 30s, a lot of your friends start getting married and having kids pretty quickly. It's just the time that it happens. So I get that feels quite isolating and quite, feel a bit. It would feel odd because you'll be like, oh, well, I'm seeing so many people around me, do all these things like life things, and I'm feeling pressure to do that. But don't feel pressure. That's bullshit. Don't worry about it. Don't settle if you do want to have kids. Don't settle for someone because I've seen a lot of people do this. They sort of settle for people just because they're like, oh, I just want kids, so I'll just go with anyone. And you're like, no, don't. Be true to yourself. Hold out. There's millions of people in the world, so do not worry. You will find a partner. You will find someone great, and don't you shouldn't have to settle, and you won't. Just don't buy into the societal bullshit around being in your 30s of all the things that you should be doing, because you can do them whenever really at this point, and or not at all if you don't want to, which is also a absolutely great option. So don't buy into it. Treat it like any other breakup. Obviously it's shit, obviously it's crap, but the one good thing, people slag off dating apps and stuff, but there's a reason that you can set your age preferences on dating apps. There's a reason, because you're only going to be fed people of the same age that you are looking for. So that's a great thing. That is an amazing thing. You don't have to go to a bar and hang out with a bunch of 22-year-old idiots and or any of that shit. You can just find the people you want to find.
Yeah, I would agree. And also that point you're making, whether you want to, you got to do the things you want to do. And there's no age for when you should get married or have kids. And also, it's what, as you say, it's worse if you do that stuff because you feel pressured, and then at 45 realize, oh shit, I've got 3 kids with a person I don't love.
Yeah, massively so. And also remember, you can have kids by yourself as well if you want. Like, by all means, do it. If you really want kids, but you don't find the person, you are more than you can have.
There's enough kids out there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pick one of them up, cheap. Yeah. Just pick one up at sort of 15. Then you got 3 years. Just a quick loan spell.
Modern technology has made that an option. So I just don't feel. Yeah, just don't settle. That would be my advice. And get yourself. When you're good and ready, get yourself back out there. Get yourself dating again.
Well, I was going to say, what's your general breakup advice? What do you do after a breakup that you think is the right?
Take the time, look after yourself, stay active, stay busy, do some exercise. All those things will help. And then when you're ready, when you really feel like you're ready, do not force it. Do not jump back in. Just wait until you're really ready. And when you are, then start. Download a dating app, and get out there and see how it goes.
There you go. Good luck to you. You've been great. And also cherish as well the relationship that you did have. If it was, just was not meant to be, but you had some good times, that's great. And it's better to have had those times and to have enjoyed it than to have not tried at all. So that's good. Okay. Well, a surprisingly sincere agony uncle, but not in a weird way. And now we move on to our final section. As you well know, this is Fail Mail. So this week we asked for the craziest conspiracy theories that you have heard. Now, not necessarily.
I actually had a slight alteration on that, and that was that you believe in.
Yeah. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that just in case I got fewer things. But this is interesting as well that you got people who actually believe in. I just with these people when I said herd, I just assumed that they believe it. I just assumed it. So thank you very much everyone who sent them in. We'll just quickly start with the ones who sent into the official AIDIF pod Instagram account. 5G can spread or cause coronavirus, a classic.
Yeah.
The Queen is a shape-shifting reptile. And then they say brackets, quoting David Icke. That seems like the sort of thing you'd sort of believe, Tom. And then, my brother once told me ATM fees contribute to terrorism. I don't even know how that works.
Older brother shit if I've ever heard it. Just like, did you actually know that every time you use an ATM, the Al Qaeda get 10p?
Yeah. So I guess you hate America then. What? I just got $20 out. Yeah, but you know those contribute to terrorism. I like his like general terrorism as well. Like terrorism's like just like contributing to like help the homeless. Like it's just like a general. There's no specific terrorist organization.
How that would have been formed is at some point someone from a terrorist organization had a sort of Citibank account, and then they were like, "Oh, that's it. They're getting the profiteering off our ATM use."
So have you got any there, Tom, that people have sent you in?
Oh yeah, okay. So have I got some? You guys came in thick and fast, and I'll start with MJ is alive. Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Not Michael Jordan.
Okay, Epstein didn't kill himself.
Classic.
The moon landing photos were
that
staged.
Epstein one though. That is, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, 100% he didn't kill himself. So
that's yeah. Not to, but even me, Tom, and I'm not the bandwagon of conspiracy theories, but that one is. Come on, that's true. That's just true.
Prince Andrew being a pedo. Okay.
Again, that is true.
Yeah. It never landed on the moon again. America's new Pearl Harbor was coming. Okay, it's pretty old school, but interesting.
Yeah, that's from Mabel celebrating her 98th birthday today.
Still going strong on that one.
Happy
Bill
birthday.
Gates leaked COVID-19.
Yeah, classic.
I don't know if he leaked. I mean, that is a real stretch there. Okay.
Yeah, that's like they've got the right components, but they've just put them together wrong.
Yeah. We live in a simulation, Matrix style.
I've got one as well. Someone builds on that. My sister is convinced we're living in a simulation and that rich people are having a great time playing a live version of The Sims. Yeah. So that basically where you are in the social scale is like how rich you are in the real life.
Interesting. China created COVID. Lee Harvey Oswald was set up. Interesting.
Man, these are some classics here, really. Where do you stand on the moon landing, Tom?
Okay, so what? It happened. 100%. The moon landing happened.
You idiot.
Once read a theory. It said that Jackie was the one who shot JFK in the limo. That is wild.
That's rogue. Why'd you just? How could you do it? That someone at the New York Museum of Natural History was stealing bones from the dinosaurs and other artifacts around the museum. How's that? I assume that happens all the time.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, cats have bred us to be their slaves. Weird.
That's great. That's such a fun one. Someone said that Man United are good, funny. Thank you very much for that. Bickers, if that is your real name. That have you heard this one before? Oh, so Flat Earth, obviously. Avril Lavigne killed herself and was replaced by a lookalike. Yeah, you going? Yeah. Classic. But why Avril Lavigne? What's the thinking behind that?
It was all too complicated.
Oh, she's still alive.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the Titanic Olympic switch theory? Have you heard of that?
Oh, that the what the owner of the Titanic sunk it on purpose for a test.
Yes, and it's a different boat.
I did hear this. Yeah, I've heard it, but
yeah. This is just going through stuff. You are like, yeah, that did happen. Yeah. So Madonna's 2019 Eurovision performance predicted the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to watch it.
After we watch that.
Okay. The plastic industry invented COVID when we banned straws and single-use plastics from takeaways everywhere.
What the fuck? Why? How does COVID help them?
Yeah. The Tupperware manufacturers were like, fuck you, okay?
When COVID happened, I did be like, right, well, at least I can invest in straws, you know?
Yeah.
Michelle Obama is a man.
Interesting. I think that's an opinion more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, that was replying years ago. Yeah, that was someone else.
Some idiot wrote climate change.
Yeah, classic. Tap water is turning frogs gay. And then it says brackets, which is partially true.
Interesting. Okay.
What's going on? Who's investigating that sort of stuff?
What you make of it? Some of these are just opinions. I don't think they're...
Replacement theory claims Jewish people trying to replace white men with gay and black people. What is going on in that one?
Once you start blaming, like getting into Illuminati and then the Jews, that's when you've gone off the deep end. Like that's when you're in way too deep with your crazy, insane nonsense. That Republicans let 9/11 happen.
Yeah, classic.
Looming Tower. That was, semi. I get where they were coming from.
Chance shit, man. Pigeons are robots being used by the government to spy on us. That's a classic. Prince Charles is a vampire. I don't know why just him. I thought,
I would get the whole family.
Yeah, not the royal family. Just one of the sons is a vampire. And he can live to 100,000 years old, and the Queen would still be on the throne.
Still going.
So, have you heard this? I don't really get this one. Synovial liquid stealing to COVID-19 patients by doctors. I don't really get the phrasing of that. What's synovial liquid? Do you know?
Not a clue.
Okay.
I imagine it's something that you need to live, and that there'll be doctors harvesting, it off people as they are sick or dying, or something like of those lines.
Okay. Weird. Final one. The government controls the weather, okay, and deliberately made it rain in April when restrictions lifted.
You think this government has the ability to plan anything? This government can't plan anything, like let alone the weather. With the restrict. Oh, God.
That's so funny, man. I mean, yeah, as if people would be. Yeah, exactly. As if someone would be in charge of the weather as their job. But yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for those who sent those through. That is absolutely fabulous. I mean, a lot of food for thought, I'd say.
Yeah, but interesting ones, certainly. But
and the thing is, what we just read out, all of those are true. So.
Welcome to the simulation.
Welcome. Yeah, wake up, sheeple. Take the red pill for a change. Right. That has been another episode of All I Do Is Fail. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you, Patreon backers, for supporting us and supporting the production of this podcast. We will be back on Tuesday with another Patreon episode. You can get that episode by going to patreon.com/AIDIFpod and donating. Tom, you got anything to plug?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can come down to Vauxhall Tuesdays every Tuesday at Vauxhall Comedy Club and come see us live if you so wish. And also you can follow me at all good social media platforms at Tom Elwes.
At Allywoods Gigs and at AIDIF Pod for the podcast social media. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.